Hey, Engine Builder, this is Greg Jones. Thanks for tuning in. I'm joined today by Johnna Dunn of Jim Dunn Racing, and we're going to get to know a little bit more about this up-and-coming racer and find out kind of what's behind her skill set and her family there that has been racing a long time, and get to know her a little bit better. So, Johnna, thanks for joining me, and say hi to all the Engine Builder fans out there.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, like I just mentioned, you've got some family background that's been in racing a long time, and you yourself are still on the young side and getting into it, but obviously you got a lot of experience through your family. You want to talk a little bit about kind of what initially got you into racing and what your passion is for it?
Yeah, for sure. So, at a young age, as a baby, I was going to the racetrack. I didn't really have a opportunity or a chance to kind of decline the motorsports side of the family. I was definitely thrown in. I'm an only child, so I don't have any brothers or sisters, so it was only me. So I was definitely going to the family business. It worked out though, because I love it and I get to do it with my family every weekend. It's kind of like our bonding time away from home, which is nice.
Right.
At a young age, I was just kind of washing parts and polishing the tires, the rims, making the guys sandwiches, like just little stuff that I could do. And then recently I started working with the clutch. So I kind of built my way up there, just like any other crew guy out there.
Yeah. Well, that's great that you kind of had to learn the ropes just like anyone else would. Now, as we've hinted, your grandfather is Jim Dunn. A lot of people know him as Big Jim Dunn. Do you want to talk about his influence on your interest in motorsports and wanting to race?
Yeah, so they do call him Big Jim Dunn, and that's definitely for a reason. Back in the day, he was, kind of scary for a lot of people. He's very intimidating, and still to this day, he's still intimidating at 88 years old. A lot of people won't come around and won't mess with him. So he definitely has that aspect and role about him. But he's been doing this his entire life. He's a retired LA County fireman, and on his off days and off weekends, he was down in Bakersfield racing. So he is one of the true pioneers of the sport, and he has been there when it was, 100 fans in the stands to now we're being sold out. So he's kind of seen NHRA evolve and transform over the years, which is really cool.
Yeah. It's awesome. Now, I'm sure he's passed on a lot of knowledge and experience to you, but are there one or two things that have always stood out or that kind of continually resonate for you as you continue on your journey in racing?
Yeah, so he's always told me to be true to the sport. Don't really, I mean, the fans are a very good aspect out there and they kind of let us do what we love to do type of thing. But we're there to race, so you got to focus on the car. That's first and foremost, and you got to be true to what you're doing out there and be true to yourself. He also told me when you kind of get in the limelight out there, people kind of want to change and mold you a little bit. Don't do that.
Mhm.
And he's actually a really good example of that because he doesn't, I mean, he'll say what he wants to say, in other words, for sure.
Right.
So I adapted to that as well.
Very good. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys compete in NHRA Top Fuel Funny Car.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Now, is that the primary class? Or do you guys do any other class racing or?
No, that's the only class that we race. And funny car and the top fuel dragsters, that's the highest level that you could be in the sport.
Right. So now, obviously, so you guys are in funny car, and you're doing a little bit of driving yourself. But as you mentioned, you're also doing some clutch work. Between the two, do you like one better? I think I know the answer to this, but
I get asked this a lot, and I like working on the car more.
Okay.
I really
then
do.
I stand corrected. I would have guessed driving.
Yeah, I really do. I like working with the team. I like working alongside my father, alongside my grandpa. I call him Papa, alongside my Papa, because with doing the clutch, the clutch specialist and the tuner, they work hand in hand. So I'm constantly going in the trailer, crunching the numbers with him. He's showing me stuff on the computer, and we just communicate a lot with that aspect of it. So it's really cool to see how the communication works. We put it into the car, and then for it to haul, butt down the track and see it work, it's like right on. We kind of get that little fist bump feeling. So that part's cool to me. The driving aspect of it, it is a totally different feeling. I did super comp when I turned 16. My grandpa went with me to get my license, and I actually got my super comp license before my driver's license. So that was kind of a weird thing. I got my racing license before. But that gives you an adrenaline rush, but I like working alongside the family more.
Yeah. Very cool. Now, how much racing in the funny car class have you had a chance to do?
So in the funny car class, I'm actually in the process of training to get licensed. Okay. I'm very petite. I'm very tiny. So there's a lot of kind of personal training that I need to do myself for that, because the G-force alone is enough to kind of knock you out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a lot in there. But I've warmed up the car a couple of times, which you get a feel for it. They say it's a little different, but you have to feel how the car moves with your butt. So when you're sitting in that seat, you need a feel if a hole drops, if the car's pulling to the left because of that. I mean, you really gotta focus and feel.
Yeah.
So I'm still in the process of training for all that.
Okay. Yeah. Very good. Yeah. Obviously, it's not easy stuff, and it takes a lot of experience and instinct and practice for sure. So good luck as you continue with that. Now,
thank you.
Johnna, you mentioned that you work on the clutch, and that's one of your more favorite aspects of being part of the crew and working on the car. But aside from the clutch, do you happen to get into the engine, or get to work with the folks who are getting into the engine stuff?
So besides the clutch, during the race weekend, not so much, just because the clutch is my primary focus. But when I'm at home and I go to the race car shop, me and my grandpa, we actually build every motor. So he doesn't let the guys really build the motors, only if we absolutely need to on a race weekend. But that's part of his love for the sport. So he builds every motor himself at the shop beforehand, before we go to the race during the weekend, awesome. Which is pretty neat, and not a lot of people know that.
Yeah. Do you want to talk a little bit about the specific engines that you guys are building for Funny Car?
So the engine is, it's a standard block. It's the same for Top Fuel and Funny Car. So it's pretty much modeled exactly the same. The only thing that's different are the headers. Obviously a shorter header for the Top Fuel Dragster. We have a longer laid back header for the Funny Car. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Very good. Now I know, in doing some of these interviews with women in motorsports, I know there's more of you coming into the scene than ever before, but obviously it's still lopsided towards being male dominated in racing. But what does it mean to you to be one of those few females who are in the sport and getting your hands dirty, working on the car, and you're racing a little bit? What has that meant to you? Have you seen advantages or disadvantages to being in a male dominated sport?
I've seen both, actually. So a couple of disadvantages would just be the upper body strength. So when you're torquing that flywheel on the clutch, I mean, it's 175, 180 foot-pounds. So, I mean, that's almost twice as much as I weigh, which is insane. So when I do it, I mean, I put my foot on the chassis and I'm getting everything that I have to torque it, right? Same with the tires and everything. I used to put the tires on the Funny Car and take them off. And that tire, I mean, it's heavy, but you gotta kind of position yourself and know your body and how you are able to take it off.
Yeah.
Some advantages to being a woman in the sport would be that there's not very many, and there's not many mechanics out there that are women. Mm-hmm. So I believe it's only me and Kaylynn that are the mechanics out there. Other than that, you have the drivers, Brittany Force, Alexa DeJoria, Leah Pruitt. So I think when you are a female out there in a male-dominated area, you have a lot more people that kind of look up to you and kind of focus on you. So it's a lot more tension and weight on your shoulders.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Now, for those of you who don't know, you mentioned Kaylynn's name. Kaylynn Simmons is someone we interviewed last year as part of our Women in Motorsports issue. She's awesome, and yeah, it's cool. You guys do some similar work. You also mentioned a number of the drivers. Do you have some role models that you look up to in the sport who are women or maybe men? Obviously, again, your grandfather is probably one of those people, but on the female side, are there people that you look up to, or maybe someone as a mentor?
The female side of it, I mean, I look up to all of them. I grew up out there, so Ashley Force, she actually used to kind of watch me and babysit me when I was little. So it's really a family-oriented sport. Even though we compete against each other, we are a true family out there. Leah Pruitt, her and I, we are really good friends. We hang out on the weekends together, go to dinner with her new husband, Tony. Erica Enders and Courtney Enders, we hang out on the weekends, go out to dinner and stuff. So, I mean, it's not that I definitely look up to all of them, but we're more of like a friends and like family type of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. Now, as you look into this year, again, you mentioned that you're still getting some experience behind the wheel, but going into the 2022 season, are there things that you're looking forward to, or goals that you have set for yourself or the racing team for this year?
Absolutely. So this NHRA 2022 season, we're going in as the number 10 car in Funny Car, which is a huge milestone for Jim Dunn Racing because we have not been in the top 10 in over 20 years. So this is a really big deal for us. This is kind of our shot to make a comeback and prove that we do belong in the top 10. During this off season, we have put in a ton of hours at the race car shop. Everything is brand new. We ordered a ton of parts. We're kind of changing a little systems in the tune-up aspect of it. But I'm excited for us to go some rounds, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. It's nice hearing that you guys are hitting some new milestones as a team, and excited about the season that's upcoming. Personally, do you have anything that you're trying to strive for this year?
My goal for this year and for my family is to license in the Funny Car. So we'll probably do that by the end of the season. I'll be in the seat a couple more times, warming it up here and there, whether it's for qualifying or for race day. Mm-hmm. I already got fitted for my fire suit. I got a helmet, the Hans device, everything is checked off on that safety aspect of it. But for the training aspect, I'm going to hit the gym a lot, have that right diet, and then just get more seat time.
Yeah, yeah. Fantastic. Well, Johnna, I just wanted to ask, again, as someone who's spent their life in motorsports and around racing, do you have any words of wisdom for, any younger folks who are trying to get into the sport, male or female? Is there something that you think that they should absolutely know or absolutely try to do to get involved?
A lot of the younger people come up to me at the track and ask me this, especially younger females, because it's just a hard area to get into if you don't know somebody.
Sure.
So there's a couple schools out there. There's Lincoln Tech, UNOH. Those are all great programs to get into. You don't necessarily have to go through one of those programs, which a lot of people don't know. But the racing teams are looking for experience. So as long as you bring experience and maybe a CDL, it kind of adds to your resume up there a little bit.
Sure.
But just experience is great, great communication skills, and you have to be able to work as a team. So just kind of put your name out there, bring some resumes, pass them out, introduce yourself. Don't be shy because this is not a shy sport. But yeah, you'll get noticed.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's great. Well, Johnna, before we sign off, I just wanted to open it up to you. Anything else that you want to add, or anything else that we didn't cover that you'd like folks to know, either about yourself or about Jim Dunn Racing?
I think we pretty much covered it. I mean, out of all the teams out there, you have a couple families that race together, like the Force family. But what kind of makes my family a little bit unique out there is that it truly is a family sport for me. So my grandfather, he not only owns the team, but he tunes the car and builds the motors. My father works alongside me doing the clutch. And my grandmother, she's 87 years old, and she actually mixes the nitro for the funny car. My
Nice.
uncle Mike Dunn, he used to be the announcer. And then I have another uncle, James, and he's actually our truck driver and our cylinder head specialist. So it truly is a family sport, and we treat our guys on the team like family too.
Yeah. Excellent. Excellent. Well, it's a great place to end it. Again, Johnna, I appreciate your time this afternoon, and thanks for joining us. And to all those engine builder fans out there, I appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Thank you.
Thank you.